respected district dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, and esteemed guests, good evening. It is my honor and privilege as the Admin Manager of District 105 to open today's session on Basecamp Management. This session is brought to you by Division G in collaboration with District 105 Program Quality Team. As Toastmasters, we all know how important Basecamp is. It is that place or that section in the TMI website from where we can access our educational resources, transcripts, educational transcripts, interactive projects, and other useful tips and tools. We also go there to track our progress, how we are progressing in our Toastmasters journey. This place is very important for the club executive committee as well, or EXCOM as we call them fondly. It is the responsibility of the EXCOM to see to it that every single member that joins Toastmasters gets full benefit of its educational program. It is also their duty and responsibility to see that the club achieves all its milestone moments. And how do they do it? They do it by progressing, by tracking the progress of individual members as well as the progress of the club on Basecamp. And it's a very important tool. If we understand Basecamp properly, if we know all its features very well, then we will be in a position to steer the club and to steer the members in a positive direction, in a direction which will reward them and fulfill all their achievement. And it will fulfill for whatever reasons they have joined Toastmasters. And today's session is all about how the Basecamp managers, as we call them, the president, the VP education, and the secretary, how they manage the Basecamp for the benefit of the club, for the benefit of the members. I know it's very important because when Pathways was introduced for the first time, I was the VP education. And yes, we had so many sessions from our trainer today, DTM Devlal, and it was really very, very helpful. I will not take much of your time. It's time to introduce somebody who is bringing all these wonderful sessions for all the members today, none other than our Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Saiju Victor. DTM Saiju is a digital marketing professional and a very passionate Toastmasters very passionate Toastmaster. He's very energetic, always open to new ideas, and has that wonderful smile because of which we can approach him anytime. So let's welcome our Program Quality Director with a big round of applause, DTM Saiju Victor.
Thank you, Toastmaster Namrata, our admin manager and newly crowned DTM. I take this opportunity to congratulate you. It just got announced that you are a DTM. Thank you. Respected district dignitaries, Toastmasters, and my dear friends. Basecamp management is very significant. In fact, we can compare them with the counselors that we come across in educational institutes. They have got the resources and power to guide you, to assist you, and give you a roadmap to success. And in short, Basecamp managers can make or break the quality of any club. That is the one or very important reason why our third training program is based on Basecamp management. And for that, we have got a wonderful trainer and a facilitator. This educational program is brought to you by Division G, one of the most outstanding divisions in the entire District 105. The effort of Division G team is behind this session, which is mainly focusing on presidents, VP educations, and secretaries. And this division had a dream run, fantastic run last year. They exceeded their expectations and achieved most of the milestones. But they did not leave it there. The journey did not end. In the new year, from July 1st, they started where they had left. And they are still having a dream run. And it's no surprises because they have got a wonderful leader, a hardworking gentleman who is a dedicated Toastmaster. And with him on the helm, nothing is impossible for them this year. And they promise that they will have a repeated dream run this year in 2023-24. To take the proceedings further, let me invite the elegant leader of Division G, DTM Praveen Panikar. The virtual stage is yours, DTM Praveen Panikar.
Thank you, DTM Saiju Victor, for that really encouraging words. And definitely we will look forward to have a great year this year also. Respected District Program Quality Director, DTM Saiju Victor, Division Directors, Area Directors, other dignitaries, and my dear fellow members. It's my pleasure to extend a warm and enthusiastic welcome to every one of you as we embark on this exciting educational journey today. Whether you are a professional seeking to sharpen your skills or a curious learner to explore new horizons, your presence is greatly appreciated. This education session represents an opportunity for all of us to come together and expand our knowledge and, of course, nurture our passion for learning Basecamp management. We have an expert trainer in the respective field among us to guide us through this enlightening journey. As we move on with the session, I encourage you to be fully present throughout the session. Make full use of the session. Actively engage with the material and, most importantly, share your thoughts and experiences later in the Q&A session. In today's gathering, let us remember that learning knows no boundaries. It is a lifelong endeavor that empowers us to adapt, innovate, and thrive in an ever-changing world. So let us embrace this opportunity to become better versions of ourselves. I don't want to further delay this process for you to learn the basics of Basecamp management. To continue our session, we have a dynamic and enthusiastic Toastmaster serving as our facilitator today, Toastmaster Faheen Niaz. Toastmaster Faheen holds a postgraduate degree in MSc Bioinformatics and has an impressive 3-year in Toastmasters journey, where she has excelled in roles such as Vice President Public Relations, Vice President Education, and currently serves as the President of ABC Toastmasters Club in Muscat, Oman. Aside from her Toastmasters achievements, Toastmaster Faheen is a dedicated homemaker and loving mother of 2 lovely children. Her guiding motto at this stage in her life is "Embrace yourself," which reflects her commitment to personal growth and self-empowerment. So, my dear fellow members, with a big round of applause, please welcome our facilitator, Toastmaster Faheen Niaz.
Thank you, Division G Director, DTM Praveen, for that beautiful introduction. Good evening, district dignitaries, division and area leaders, most of all, the members who make the bulk of the audience today, the Basecamp managers. It is said that the price one pays for greatness is responsibility. And each and every club president, club VPE and VPM is en route greatness as they have shouldered the responsibility of being the backbones of their respective clubs. The first step to being responsible, though, is to thoroughly understand your role. Because There's a quote that says, failure to understand our true role means to get lost in mediocrity. So to make sure that none of the club leaders of District 105 get lost in mediocrity, we have an eminent Toastmaster as our trainer for the day. Now, before I introduce him though, let me tell you that this will be an interactive session. The trainer will take us through a set of questions, educating us through each of them. Please feel free to raise your hands and unmute yourselves when you have any questions to ask. Alternatively, you could also post the questions in the chat box. A gentle reminder though to keep yourselves on mute, otherwise so as to not interrupt the flow of the session. We will also be posting, as was said before, we will be posting a Google form to get feedback on the session today. I ask all of you to fill that and submit it by the end of the session. Now, coming to the man of the hour, it is my privilege to introduce DTM Devlal Sahadevan. He is a man of abundant knowledge in Toastmasters, garnered from the 17 years he has been in it. He is the former Division H Director and a Pathways Ambassador. He works as Head of Learning at an MNC in UAE. Apart from Toastmasters, he likes blogging, cartooning, outdoors, and cats. Now a member of 2 clubs and having attained his DTM title for the 2nd time, DTM Devlal Sahadevan, we are eager to learn from you. A huge round of applause to DTM Devlal Sahadevan. The screen is yours to take, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fareen. Good evening to all the district dignitaries and fellow Toastmasters. Welcome to the session. The plan for this training session was to pose a few questions, which we thought would be the most important for you. And then through discussions, inviting suggestions and opinions, and of course, share advices, we hope to clear most of the questions and doubts that you may have about Basecamp management. And my first question that we had planned was all about Basecamp. It was a question, an open-ended question. But fortunately for me, Toastmaster DTM Namrata has already clarified the first part. So, but again, I would like to share my screen. And here's the first question. Toastmaster Fareen had explained how we would go about doing this, right? So you have a question on the screen, and you may post the answers in the chat box, or if you have another question which is related to the question on the screen, you may post that as well in the chat box. And if you would like to say something about it, and as long as it is within, say, a minute, not more than a minute, please raise your hand, and Toastmaster Fareen will facilitate that. And our host also would keep an eye on who would like to say something about it. Okay, so the first question, like I said, has already been answered. What is Basecamp management? It is pretty much all that happens in what we call as Basecamp, where we have the Basecamp managers who would administer their or carry out their duties or responsibilities. So this is it's a very general question. Now, pretty much this is like a preface to whatever is going to happen later. So we are going to move away from the Basecamp management because it has already been explained. Okay, I don't want to spend any more time. However, if at all there is anything that is left unsaid about the first question, we will address that in the second question, which is this. And this goes out to all of you. Feel free to leave your answers in the chat box because this is fundamental to Basecamp management. Please go ahead and leave it in the chat. I believe I can see the chat box. Yes, I can see that. So who all are the Basecamp managers? You may leave your comments in the chat box. But if you'd like to switch on a microphone and say it, that's also fine. So either raise your hand or leave your answers in the chat box. Okay, we already have answers. And of course, we have mostly the correct answers, right, Toastmaster Fareem? Yeah. Okay. So here are the answers. Toastmaster Ashish has mentioned it very clearly. We have the president of the club, the VP education of the club, and the secretary. That's the correct answer. You have 3 people who are the base camp managers. And Toastmaster Ashish, congratulations to you. You also have mentioned the names in a particular sequence. He has mentioned the VP Education's name as the first base camp manager. And I believe there's a reason behind it. Now, anybody, any ideas why would you say so? Why would you have the VP Education as the first base camp manager? Any opinions or any suggestions as to why that would be the first case? Would that person would get preference over the other 2? Once again, do we have any answers in the chat box? We don't have any answers in the chat box. Okay, well, we have an answer from Toastmaster G. Kumar. He says, he's responsible for the conduct of the meeting and members' path tracking. He's the one who controls the education awards. Yes. See, he's in charge of DTM Sridaman is in charge of the education. Exactly. Toastmaster Rajashekaran, thank you very much. It is the VP Education who looks after the education goals of the members of the club, responsible for ensuring that their levels are approved and recognized, the education awards are applied for, etc. So the VP Education obviously is the first person, or the prime responsibility is with the VP Education. And in the absence of the VP Education, the president or the secretary have the privileges to function as a base camp manager. Nobody else has the privilege, because if anybody else tries to sign into the base camp as a base camp manager, you would realize that you don't have the admin privileges, because it's given to these 3 people by default. I believe that has been clearly explained, and if you still have any doubts, please feel free to leave it in the chat box, or please raise your hand. We are moving on to the next question. Level completion and education award application, are they one and the same? Are they different? Or if they are different, how are they different? Once again, it's an open-ended question. Feel free to leave your answers in the chat box. How are these processes different one from the other? Any opinions? I know that it may take a few seconds for you to type an answer to this long question, because it's not a one-word answer. Anyone? If you would like to talk about it, if you would like to explain it, please raise your hand, and then you can pick up the microphone. That is absolutely fine, okay? This is supposed to be an interactive session.
DTM Girish is saying it's indeed different. One is done at the base camp, and the other at Club Central is what DTM Sridaman is saying.
Fantastic. That's very simply put, that's the primarily the difference between both. Yes, Toastmaster Girish also has pretty much mentioned the same. Level completion. Okay, Toastmaster Rajashekaran says level completion is for the individual members of the club. Education award is to complete the club performance. Okay. Education award also. You're right. But again, we have to remember that education award also goes to the same member for whom that level completion had been approved. So level completion is the first step, right? And then we move on to the club education award completion. Anybody else? If there is anybody else who would like to, Toastmaster Godson says, yes, you're absolutely right, Toastmaster Godson. It is for you apply for the award. The reason why we ask this question is because Sometimes, especially when you are not too familiar with Basecamp, there had been instances when the VP Education or the Basecamp manager, whoever that is, approves a certain level completion for a member, but unfortunately, the member is still waiting for the award to be given because, just like some of you had mentioned, you have to log into Club Central and then apply for the award as a second step. So what I could do is share a screenshot. So this is what happens to me if I'm a Basecamp manager and I'm the member of 2 clubs. So I would go to Basecamp and I would choose the member club that I'm in. Applicable only when you are the member of multiple clubs. And then what you do is I would go to, there are 3 tabs that is available as soon as I log in as a Basecamp manager. So on the left hand side, the first one says pending requests. Okay, so I would click on that tab and that will take you to the Basecamp option where you may approve level completion. Here's a snapshot or a screenshot of that activity. You would see that under level completion request, you have the name of a Toastmaster, what level is it, type, and the date and time at which the completion request had been made. And you got 2 options. Okay, you have a green tick mark or a red X mark. The green obviously is for you to approve. That's what you do. And then at the bottom, you also have another option, a small space for you to write down. Why do we have the space? Because there are 3 Basecamp managers, and just in case it was not the VP Education who logged in and approved, it serves as a reminder for anybody else who logs into Basecamp that, okay, among the 3 of us, this particular person has approved it. So it is just, a nice way of letting the Basecamp managers know in between them as to who approved it. For example, if I'm a VP Education of a club, I cannot approve my own level. I cannot approve. I cannot. I shouldn't be approving my own level completion. I would rather have one among the other 2 Basecamp managers to do that. So this is just to indicate that who had done it, and then you approve or deny, which leads us to another situation here. My question to you is this. Let me stop sharing for a second. As a VP Education, as a Basecamp manager, can you deny level completions? Somebody has submitted an application. Can you deny and say, no, you can't? Anyone? My question basically goes out to VP Educations in this group. Yes, it's possible. Yes, if anybody would like to talk about it, please go ahead. Raise your hand so we can switch on your microphone and let's talk about this. Toastmaster Girish says, explain it to the member, of course. Okay. Anyone who would like to talk about this? Toastmaster Faisal, I think his hand is up.
Yeah.
Zoomaster,
Yeah,
could you please?
Yeah, good evening, Jitendra Devlal. When you are a member of a regular club and when your member has not done that particular thing, you can always have the right to deny because it's about the integrity we are calling off. So you're in a position to at least convey the message to the member that you have not completed these projects. So, and because you are attending the club sessions regularly and you know this member has not done these projects or is not gone through the project. So in that case, we have every right to deny that approval. Devilan, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Faisal. Thank you for sharing. However, just remember one thing. Before we click that red button, remember that Toastmaster is a member of our club, right? So before we click a green or a red, well, approval of a level completion, as long as you have the right information, you can just go ahead and approve it. Sometimes a question is not even necessary. However, at a certain time, when you think the person has or at least you don't have any proof of it, you're not aware of it, then before you deny, before you click on the red button, the X mark, if I were a VP education, what I would do is I will get in touch with that club member and say that, well, it seems like, the last project completion was not done in our club. I'm not aware of it. Or maybe you missed the meeting, so we are not aware of it. So do you mind explaining when was the last level completion done? Or when was the last project done? Just find out. It's just a very informal conversation between you and a club member, just to clarify that. Because there is always a possibility that the member has actually done the last project or completed the level, and you're not aware of it. And how do you think that could possibly happen? Anyone? Anybody? Any answers in the chat box? When do you think?
Toastmaster Kapil
Kapil,
has an
okay.
answer.
Exactly like what you have mentioned, he could be a member in multiple clubs. So he must have delivered the speech or the project in another club where he has informed the VPE there that the credit will be given to this club, not to the other club.
Yes. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kapil. And we also had Toastmaster Ashish mention the same thing. Could be member of multiple clubs, and it must have been completed elsewhere. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you for all your answers. Now we move on to the next question. How is this? We are addressing the second part of the question. We did the level completion in the base camp, but the second part of the job is to apply for the award. Apply for a level 1 or level 2 or a DTM, whatever. You have to log into the Club Central. Now you got to come out of the base camp. You have to go to the Leadership Central on the TMI website, and then you have to go to Club Central. You click on Club Central, and it takes you to this page where you can see right on top on the left side corner, you have Submit Education Awards. All these are, I'm sure that most of you must have gone through all this, unless you are a very new VP education and your club is yet to apply for some awards. You must have gone through all this. So all you have to do is click on that, and that will take you to the Submission of Education Awards. And here you just have, from the drop-down list, find out who is the person, what level is it, click on it, submit. And that's as simple as that. Now, I hope you have noticed the little message there. It says, if you're a club officer and if you're applying for your own award, please have another club officer submit your award application, because you won't be able to see your name there. Okay, and that's not a mistake. That's just the way the program is. The Education Awards is programmed. So we do not go ahead and apply for our own education awards. We involve another basecamp manager or another club officer. And now remember one more thing. When it comes to Club Central, an education award can be submitted by who? Who can submit an education award in Club Central? Because we don't have that as a part of the questions, but anybody? Let's see if we can see some answers in the chat box.
DTM Praveen says VPE.
Okay. Basecamp managers who can apply for an award in the Club Central. I'm not asking who is supposed to. We have the correct answer from Toastmaster Girish. Now remember, when it comes to submission of club awards, it is not restricted to basecamp managers. Okay, any club president, any club officer can submit an award. Thank you very much. That's the correct answer. Any club officer. However, does it mean that everybody can just log in and start submitting club awards? No. Ideally, the responsibility would fall upon the shoulders of the VP education. But if the VP education is not there, or the person has gone on leave, or that person has got some kind of an inconvenience, then obviously that person might get in touch with someone else, could be the president or the secretary, and you take it in that sequence, and then that can be done. Okay, just to clarify. Once again, while we're discussing these various points, if you have any questions, please leave that in the chat box. Or if you have any disagreement, if you have any doubts, please feel free to raise your hand.
Do have a question here.
Oh, yeah.
We do have a question here from a club VPE, Toastmaster Chanel Isaacs. They're asking, as the VPE, should we ask members to submit all their evaluation forms before approving a level completion?
Oh, okay. Should you ask for your evaluation forms?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your question. My first, let's divide the answer into two sections. So one of the first things we do is, when it comes to Toastmasters, the evaluation, that document, it's slightly of a personal nature. If an evaluation is given to me as a Toastmaster who has just delivered a speech, it is a personal document. I don't have to show it to anybody. It's not at all mandatory. And sometimes in some clubs, people will do the evaluation at a club meeting, and the paper in which they write it down, it may not come to me. And as the member or as a speaker, it is often my responsibility to ensure that I get a copy of it for future reference. But however, these things are not mandatory. Sometimes, you just receive that verbal evaluation and I'll note down what's important for me, and then I may just go ahead with the rest of my projects. So from a point of view of club administration, you cannot specifically ask for it, demand it. However, there's nothing wrong in asking a member, there's nothing wrong in ensuring that a member has submitted, has fulfilled all the criteria to be able to apply for a level, completion of a level, or any other club award for that particular, for that matter. Usually this happens when you are not privy to that information. Maybe you are not there for a while and you don't really know whether a person has completed all the projects that qualify that Toastmaster for a certain level application. So, okay, here Toastmaster Kumar has said, if the VP has any doubt, check the agenda. Yes. So most of the time it is that. Maybe, I'm a VP education. I was absent for on the particular day and I have no idea. So you could check with maybe the club president or somebody else who was available there, or the evaluator himself or herself. All these are different ways of it. But the first step I think you should do is just check with the Toastmaster. Well, when was the last day? When was the last time you completed the project? If you were there in that meeting and you're pretty sure that the Toastmaster did not do the project, you may want to verify it with the others, maybe take it up with the president, etc. Okay. Agenda is a wonderful tool to verify, but we all know from our experience, sometimes the agenda changes and sometimes it can change at the last moment. So all that could possibly happen. First step is always to have that personal conversation with the member. And it has happened, yes, it has happened in the past in some clubs. A member will submit a request for level completion or maybe another award. And if the VP education is convinced that the member doesn't have the credentials, you can always inform the member, because sometimes the member just is not aware of it. Okay. One such example that I can quote is the Pathways Mentor. There is a program, a standalone program called the Pathways Mentor, and it's got a lot of criteria to be fulfilled. And somebody might just apply for it. And if I'm a VP education, I would tell them, well, these are the criteria. Have you completed all this? Do you have all the supporting documents? And then make a call. Okay. I hope I clarify the question. In case I haven't, please feel free to put it in the chat box. Okay. So shall we move on to the next question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. What reports are available to a Basecamp manager? Answers in the chat box, please. What are the reports? You don't have to mention all of them, maybe the most important ones. That is very essential for a Basecamp manager. Something that will help you in conducting your job properly. Individual progress. Wonderful, Toastmaster Samra. That is perhaps the first thing that I would also check as a Basecamp manager. Pathways progress. Great. Okay, that's another good answer. You have another report on pathways progress. I believe you mentioned the same, right? Any other answers? Level completion of a particular member, yes, which is usually called as individual progress. Each level, yes, you have 5 levels, and you can find out who are the Toastmasters who have completed each level. At one shot, you can find that out. Wonderful. Okay, you all seem to know very well about the reports that are available. So here you have member progress. Okay, right. Toastmasters detailed summary for each. Yes, of course. We have the second tab that says member progress. You click on that and it will take you to a page where you find all this and more. First is called the individual progress. Now, the screenshot that I have shared is not complete. It shows only the individual progress in level 1. But in your club, you may have members who have completed levels from 1 to 5. So all you have to do is just scroll down and you will see level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Against each person, you've got that blue band that tells you where your individual member stands in terms of level completion. And on the right hand side, you have level completion. It just simply means levels recently completed on the Basecamp within the last 90 days. So in this particular situation, it was just me who completed a certain level during the last 90 days, which is why my name is the only name that you would find. Okay, but otherwise there would be more names. So that's 2 reports you have. The third one, you've got the path progress. This is basically telling you what are the most popular paths among your club members, what are the paths chosen by all of them, and what's the progress in relation to each path. So if you find 2 lines or 3 lines, the blue line says what's the completion, and a red line says it is in progress, which means it is going to be completed soon. And the gray line says if a member has registered in a particular path but haven't proceeded up to a level completion. So that's path progress. And then the other one is about the path type. But this is not a big deal for the simple reason almost 100% of our members will be choosing an online option, right? Online learning. But let's just say that in a certain situation where somebody has chosen to continue a path in printed material, you cannot see the path progress on a graph like this. The simple reason is that information is not captured online, isn't it? Because it is done like in the good old days on paper. So you will have to check individually with each member and then address that. That is why the path delivery method you see online, you would find that pretty much all your members are doing it online. So it would be 100%. The other 2 reports you have, one is called recently selected paths. Once again, this happens only if it had happened in the last 30 days or in the last calendar month. Then you would find somebody's name there or whatever path they have chosen. And the last report you have is called external trainers. Now, this is something we will discuss a little later. So I'm not going to explain much about that, what it means by external training. And I would only say this much. Unfortunately, this particular option that we have in Basecamp, it is not used by most members. But we will talk about that a little later. What do you mean by external training? This is all the options available for the Basecamp managers. You have the Basecamp manager overview and resources that will help you learn and get better, gather information so that you can do your job properly. You can track progress. There are a ton of resources here. Okay. So if I'm a Basecamp manager, I would spend some time to go through each one and learn. That brings us to, okay, in the chat box, we have
We do have questions.
We have questions. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Once again, let's look at the questions. Which question should I answer first?
Toastmaster Vihang has a question that might be a question for many here. Does the pathway progress show even if the member has completed levels and parts in another club? What if member gave all speeches in one club, but path completion credit goes to another? Is it based on the discretion of the member?
Okay, you have got 3 questions and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible because it's 8:40. First is that if the member has completed levels and parts in another club, remember that your level completion and all is not connected to a particular club. The club matters only when it comes to your decision of deciding which club should get credit for that when it comes to DCB goals. Okay, otherwise it is not connected to a club. So it doesn't matter where you completed it, which VP approved it, your levels and parts, all that will be there. Put it this way. Let's imagine that you're going to decide, you're deciding that I don't want to be the member of this particular club. I'm going to migrate to another country and I will join a club in another country. You go there, you become the member of another club, you log in, all your credentials will be there for the rest of your life, as long as you're a Toastmaster. Okay, so it's not connected to a club. What if member gave all speeches in one club, but path completion credit goes to another club? Okay, now why would I do that? I have no idea. That is entirely left to your discretion. So basically the answer is yes, you can decide which club gets credit, provided you are a member of that club. It would be unfortunate if I spent all the time, my VP education was given, the club that I'm a member of has given to me to present projects, but in the end, I'm going to decide to give the credit to another club. It may not sound nice, but it is possible. Is it nice or not? Well, we can debate on that. And let's hope it doesn't happen very often. But there is usually a reason, when such things happen. But it's possible. You can decide. It's absolutely left to the discretion of the member. Do we have another question? Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. Okay. Could you please read out, Toastmaster?
Yes, we have a question from another VPE, Ashish Kolte. He asks, a few members had completed the level and awarded the certificates too, but still the path progress is not showing updated. Please advise. Okay.
I'm assuming that we are talking about the path progress on Basecamp itself. If that's the case, you just have to check, because in my personal experience, a couple of things have happened. Sometimes you complete a certain path and there is something called as a reflecting on the path. Okay, sometimes there is a tiny little part that you are required to complete the level completion. You may have completed all the projects, but the level completion may require for you to reflect on the path. You may have to go and check if there is any other task related to that particular path that is stopping you from doing it. Because sometimes it is awarded, however, it may not be 100%. So check if the level completion is 100% on Basecamp. But if you're talking about a club award, please refer to the last question we discussed. We spoke about it. Level completion is one thing. VP education logging into the club central and applying for the award is a different thing. So when you say path progress is not showing, you have to just simply make sure that all the tasks related to that particular level is complete. And I hope we are not talking about the award for a certain level completion. What is the other question? I don't see status of members who are members in multiple clubs. In earlier days, it was possible to select home club, but this option is no longer available. How do a member select the home club? I don't see status of members who are members in multiple clubs. I do not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what exactly Toastmaster Girish meant by that.
I will clarify that, DTM Devla. See, in my club, there are members who are members of multiple clubs.
Okay.
Okay, and many times we don't see their path progress. Their name doesn't even show up when you try to look up. The reason is that they are into multiple clubs. And in the earlier days, it was possible to select a home club. If you are in 3 clubs, you can select a home club. So the VP education of the home club can see the status or path progress status, so to speak. But that option is no longer available. And it says that a member, when he is applying or completing a level, he can award it to a particular club. So that particular club, VP education, see the status. But we don't know, or I don't know how do you give that?
Okay, to be honest, I find it a little surprising that you are not able to see the progress of your own club members. The only situation where you cannot see the progress of your own club member is because that person is not a member of your club at all. Otherwise, usually we expect the base camp of each person's base camp, to reflect the progress of the person, provided level completion approval has been done by the VP education. Unless that is done, you won't be able to see the progress. It would still, show only a gray line.
No, the thing is that if they are members of multiple clubs, it is possible that their status does not show in our club base camp. Their name even doesn't appear. Okay, when you type in the name, it generally shows who are your members. It doesn't show up. So the reason could be that they have selected another club as their home club, which was possible earlier. You can select what is your home club when you are a member and when you are accessing Basecamp. This option is no longer available.
Correct.
Yeah. And so there is no way you can see why the members are not showing up in your Basecamp.
Okay. Can we take this particular case offline and discuss, because I really love to see that, if possible, maybe for
after the session, probably I'll share my screen so you have an understanding of what exactly I'm talking about.
But connected to your question, thank you, Toastmasters. But connected to your question, there have been situations when, if I'm a member of multiple clubs, I would apply for level completion in a certain club. That is done, and in the club central of another club, another VP education will apply for the award. So you see.
Actually, I'm not talking about club central. Club central is not at all the issue. It is the base camp issue. I will demonstrate what exactly I mean later.
Okay. Thank you for that question. That seems like a very interesting situation to me. We'll discuss that. Can members select 2 paths at the same time? Yes, Toastmaster Jamnadas, you can. However, remember that when you become a member of a Toastmasters club, $20 goes into your lifetime membership, and 1 path comes along with that. If you want to purchase, if you want to get a second path, you will have to purchase it by paying another $20. Okay, that's it. And it is not related to any particular club membership. It is entirely your own decision. So you can actually buy all the 11 paths if you would like to. Okay, each one will cost you extra $20. If a member is a multiple club, can you select different paths? Yeah, it is entirely left to you. You can complete the same path in different clubs also. All that is entirely left to you. In fact, you can decide to give speeches in any part of the world. It's not linked to pathways at all. If I approve the request for a level completion mistakenly, what is next procedure? Well, that's a tough one. Once you approve it, remember, it remains approved. Okay, we'll have to take ownership of that. The only thing you can do is that you request a member to complete whatever is required to complete that particular level. Usually when it comes to tricky situations like this, there is always an option to write to a Toastmasters education, but once an award is given, reversing that procedure is not possible, to the best of my knowledge. Okay, so which is why the role of a Basecamp manager is very important. Check the credentials before you apply. In case you are in doubt, always double check. There are more questions coming up. I hope that was clear. If you did a level speech in a second club and after that you go back to your main club, it is not showing your completion in that club. Level completion. Please remember that level completion has got nothing to do with a particular club. It is a task that is performed by a VP education of a certain club, but it will not show up as a level completion against a club. The credit does not go unless and until you apply for the award in the club central. That is a task to be performed by the VP education of the same club. But if the member, remember this, if the member is a member of multiple clubs, and if somebody else applies for that award, you lose that opportunity. So remember, level completion is one task. Attached to that task is application of club award. So you do your job in base camp, immediately go to the club central and apply for the award. Otherwise, you stand the risk of losing credit because some other proactive VP education may do that. What was the other question? Sorry?
Shall we continue? Respecting the time.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you very much. We will come back to these answers, okay, as soon as we are done with this. The admin privileges, we talked about it. How can three people do the same job without confusion? So just that, since we are slightly short of time, we will just move into something that I mentioned earlier. You have a small space that is provided to you when you approve a level completion. Here is where, if I'm a VP education, I would just put approved by VP education Toastmaster Devla, so that this is an indication for the other two basecamp managers that this was done by this particular person. And always remember, VP education is called the bigger responsibility. Primarily, it is the responsibility of VP education to do this job. And in case you don't have time, then you would leave this job to the president, but it's usually through a personal request. Okay, I'm not going to be around, I'm not going to be online for a couple of weeks, so kindly do this. I would hand it over to the president, or in that person is not there, then it goes to secretary. So communication between these people are very important. That is it. What if you do a project outside your club? I believe we had already a Toastmaster who had mentioned the answer for this question. Its simple answer is this. You will go log into your pathways of learning from the base camp and click on those three little dots, place the cursor on top of the three little dots towards your right side of your screen. The first option that drops out is called add external training. And that'll take you to another page where you can enter all the details about your project. Which club are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Which project is it? All that will be there as a reference to your VP education. So just in case, due to some reason, if there is some sort of, maybe the VP education still doesn't know where you completed it and argues that, oh, well, Toastmaster, I didn't know that you completed the level. You have this particular option available in the base camp as a method of communicating to the VP education. However, this is not mandatory. Sometimes all that you need is just give a call, send a text message to VP education and say that, hey, this is what I've done. I'm going to present a project, or I'm going to complete my level in another club in some other part of the division or the district. So just keeping people informed. Okay, that is it. So that brings us to the end of the questions we had planned for the session. It's 8:53. Do we have time? Toastmaster Praveen, Toastmaster Fareen, do we have time to answer a couple of questions?
2 minutes more, 2 to 3 minutes more, a couple of questions, maybe 1 to 2 questions.
Okay.
We have someone, Toastmaster Samra, asking, if at all a level completion is submitted by mistake, can we write to the TMI to fix it?
Okay, you could try that. You could try that. But as far as I know, reversing such a thing is not usually possible. Okay, reversing a decision like that is possible. So it's always good to double check before you approve a big thing. It's a big deal, right? Level completion is a big deal. Most of the time, it's quite easy because you can look at an individual person's individual progress and see whether everything is done. However, there's nothing wrong in double checking in case you have any doubts. Any other questions?
Another question from Toastmasters Said Al Mantri. He's asked, is member needs to get access to submit education award? The question is not very clear. Toastmaster Said, if you are here, you could ask the question.
Yes, I'm here. This is from the previous questions with regards to education award. So you mentioned that he can post that one, or he can update that one. So that's a question related to that previous talk to you. For education awards, is member has access to do that or not? That's the question.
He's asking, so you said that all the role officers have the access for member award submission. He's asking,
Yes.
do members have that too? Or is it just the club officers?
I think what the Toastmaster asked is, do the members have the admin privileges to approve a level completion? Is that the question?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
no, they don't have. Only the
Yeah.
3 base camp managers have the authority to approve. That
How
option
about
does.
how about the education award? He has access for that?
Club officers, education, submission of club awards in the club central, all the 7 club officers have that authority.
Okay.
However, in a club, yes. But however, in a club, we always leave it to the VP education because there's one single point of control. And if all the 7 starts to approve, start submitting awards, it becomes a bit chaotic, and you wouldn't know who was applied for what. So we would rather leave that to the VP education, and in the VP education's absence, then we may entrust that responsibility with the president or the secretary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have the red card showing.
We have the red card. Yeah, it's up. Now, however, in case you have any more doubts, please send your questions to Toastmaster Saiju Victor, DTM Saiju Victor, the PQ team. And in case there are still doubts, we can always get back to you and clarify those doubts. So within the next allotted time, our time is up. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. Thank you for all the questions, especially the ones who ask questions. And I leave it back in the hands of the facilitator, Toastmaster Fareed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DTM Devlal. We sure have questions maybe, but anyone who has questions can please stay back and ask DTM Devlal over here. A kind reminder, there is the feedback form. I ask all of you Toastmasters to please fill the form and send in and submit it right now before you leave. DTM Devlal, it's been a very enriching session, and there were nuanced questions that needed in-depth knowledge, and you handled it so well. I am sure that the base camp managers here are definitely leaving richer in knowledge. Thanks to you, DTM Devlal. And I now hand over the stage to to Division D Director, DTM Praveen Panikar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Toastmaster Faheen. I hope you all found the session very interactive and enjoyable. Then let's give a big round of applause to our trainer and the facilitator together. I think you can use your emojis to give that wonderful, excellent support by showing your emojis. You would have gained a solid grasp of the fundamentals of Basecamp management. I am sure the time was not enough to completely cover the entire segment, the entire session, but due to time constraint, we have to stop here. But maybe whatever as a facilitator mentioned, you can stay back and clear your doubts, or maybe you can put it in the chat box. Later, we will definitely address all the questions and come back with the answers. Now, I want to extend on behalf of Division and District the heartfelt appreciation to our trainer, DTM Devlal Sahdevan, for delivering an exceptionally informative session on Basecamp management. DTM Devlal Sahdevan really delved deep into the program, ensuring that every aspect was covered comprehensively. We are truly thankful for your dedication and thoroughness, DTM Devlal. Please accept the certificate as a token of our appreciation. Thank you very, very much from our bottom of our heart. And also, I would like to acknowledge the performance of our facilitator, Toastmaster Faheen Niaz, in effectively moderating the entire program. Toastmaster Faheen, your keep thinking, timely involvement in the Q&A session and other session throughout the program significantly contribute to the seamless flow of the session. We extend our gratitude to you for your excellent facilitation. Please accept our certificate as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to wholeheartedly convey our appreciation to DTM Saiju Victor, the Program Quality Director of District 105, the mastermind behind this program. And your guidance and counsel have been instrumental in helping us organize all the necessary elements of this program success. Thank you, PQD, DTM, Saiju, Victor. It is impossible to overlook the essential contributions of our timers and Zoom masters. Without your dedicated assistance, this program wouldn't have achieved its success. We have started on time, and now we will be able to end on time. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to TM Toastmaster Vishwas, Toastmaster Ramakant as timers, and Toastmaster Krishna K. Nair and Toastmaster Rajesh Kumar as the Zoom masters. Thank you all very, very much from our side. I would like to take this moment to extend my sincere gratitude to my ESCOM, area directors, and the entire team of their unwavering support and full cooperation, and which were pivotal in ensuring the success of this event. In closing, we want to express our immense gratitude to all the members here today, and you are the pillars of our strength and the wellspring of our inspiration. The success of any program is truly attributed to you and your active participation. We extend our heartfelt thanks and kindly request you, and also kindly request you to extend all your participation in the future events. Wish you all a very good night, and thank you. Signing off. Meeting adjourned.